They might be divorced, but that didn't mean his ex had learned how to let go of the things she couldn't have, or to value the life that could still be hers if she'd finally grow up. And he couldn't get a read on Kristen at all. The silent connection he'd sensed between them for years could have been a wishful figment of his imagination. His track record for making sense out of other people had been in the crapper since he was a kid. Then her bright green eyes narrowed at the directness of his question, a second before the AP reached out her hand. Chloe's attention zinged back and forth between them. "Dad?" Chloe asked when he kept his hand at his side, his fingers tingling. "It's okay, darling." He'd make everything okay for her again. "I'll be leaving in just a second." Whatever it took, he'd see Chloe's life settled. Even if it meant walking away from the breathtaking blonde before him without ever knowing if her skin, just the touch of her hand, was as soft as it looked. He cupped the back of his daughter's head. "I hope you won't leave, Mr. Beaumont." The AP dropped her arm to her side. She wiped her palm on her suit pants, obviously nervous when she wasn't a nervous sort of woman. But her tone said she intended to dig in those surprisingly dainty heels until they talked about whatever she wanted to talk about. "I know how terribly busy you are, but I have something important to discuss. I need your help. Yours and Chloe's both." Chloe loved her dad, but what was he doing at school? And Chloe liked Ms. Hemmings, not that she'd let her friends see how much. But Ms. Hemmings talking with her dad right there on the playground in front of everybody, that meant something bad, no matter what the adults said. Chloe just knew it, because she knew her mom, at least the way her mom had been lately. Since the divorce, Chloe stayed only 2 nights with her dad at his apartment during the school week. The mornings they were together, he always went back to sleep after she left on the bus. He slept a lot of the day because he worked so late most nights. But when the bus dropped her off in the afternoon, he was always up and trying to make her laugh, and taking her out for hamburgers and milkshakes for dinner. Even on days like today, when he'd stayed up later than normal last night, arguing with her mom over the phone. Her mom and dad fought almost every night still, even though her dad had moved out almost a year ago when they'd separated. Sometimes she wondered if they'd always been fighting since long before they had her. Only her dad used to try to not let her know. And he'd gotten her mom to try for a while, too, until they both stopped trying for good. Chloe loved her family. Sort of. But she hated how nothing ever felt right anymore. Not for a long time. She wished it wasn't so hard, making Dad and her friends and everyone believe she was okay with the divorce when all she wanted was for her parents to stop hating each other. And she wished more than anything else that her mom noticed half as much as her dad did, that everything had gotten too crazy, and that Chloe might not be as cool with it as she pretended. Since January, Mom seemed to care only about herself. She'd probably been mad last night because Dad had worked the closing shift again at the bar. "What's the point of him asking the judge for more time with my daughter," she kept saying to everyone, "if he isn't ever home when Chloe's there?" And her mom's friends, Chloe's friends' mothers, would nod and agree. Now Dad was at school, tired and looking sick. Someone else, her friends or Ms. Hemmings, might think he'd been drinking. Since her dad had moved out, Mom had told people that he was drinking again, especially their divorce judge, but Chloe knew it wasn't true. She'd never seen him take even one drink. But he did look strange, so she hadn't run to him when she'd first seen him on the playground. At least that was partly why. It had been stupid, how she'd thought right off that maybe he'd come to check her out early. They could do something together all day, something fun when no one else was around to see. Maybe they'd go to the zoo in Atlanta, she'd thought. He'd taken her there a lot until the last few months. She loved it. And he loved her, and the Atlanta Zoo had the best milkshakes, so he always took her when she asked. They'd go every week if she wanted, he'd promised, until the animals got sick of them and the zoo threw them out. She hadn't wanted to so much since her parents split. She didn't want